Nepal and Bangladesh can be connected through dedicated transmission line as well as through Indian grids. Both options are feasible. So dedicated transmission line means it's also Indian grid. So how we can export electricity, it depends upon the charge that we have to pay for the electricity transmission line. If it is dedicated also, we have to pay the charge. If it is Indian grid also, we have to pay the charge. So it is the charge that we have to pay. Bangladesh or Nepal has to pay the charge, and power can be wheeled. So it doesn't matter whether it is dedicated or Indian grid. So there should be transmission corridor available. If it is transmission line capacity is not there, then the power cannot be wheeled. So for transmission corridor, Nepal and Bangladesh and India, maybe Power Grid India can build transmission line in that transmission corridor if it is required for more than 5,000 megawatt or 9,000 megawatt. Bangladesh is planning to import Nepal's hydropower up to 9,000 megawatt by 2040. So for that, it may be required more transmission line, and that may be dedicated or it is synchronized or connected to Indian grid. So it doesn't matter. It is practically and technically feasible and commercially viable. I don't think that the politicization, it doesn't mean that India doesn't want. An Indian guideline of 2018 has already said that third party transmission of electricity is possible, and Indian regulation, electricity cross border regulation, has also mentioned the same thing. So the policy wise it is clear, and practically I think political level and in bureaucratic level and execution level, we have to work on this, and joint secretary level meetings and working level meetings, we are discussing to clear the transmission corridor and as well as export of electricity to Bangladesh. So I think in BVIN framework, BVIN 4 countries, we have Bhutan, Bangladesh, India and Nepal, and ultimately in future there will be single market. For single market, this transmission line and market integration is important. This will happen. It will take some time for policy and regulation for common understanding. I think the most feasible option is BVIN. We have power generation projects, hydropower in Bhutan and in Nepal, and the huge market, electricity market in India and Bangladesh. Both are the huge electricity market for this region. So there is supply and there is market. So this BVIN framework is the most feasible option for this sub-regional context. So I think if Nepal can develop more and more hydropower projects that can be consumed, that can complement India's solar mission, and Bangladesh can import Nepal's electricity, because Bangladesh and India has also to meet their COP26 targets, also climate change mitigation targets. So this is also very important for this region. So for China, I think we have a long border connected with China, and there are many projects near Chinese border also. So when China is connected with Nepal, Chinese grid, I think Tibetan grid, we can connect Tibet grid to Nepal's grid, and that the nearby China border, that we can exchange the power from China also we can export to China, we can import sometimes. That can happen. That's when Foreign Minister from China visited Nepal last time. They have signed one MOU to build cross-border transmission line between Nepal and China. So that is the good initiative, and it will happen in future because it's a long border connected with China, but there is no connectivity, electrical connectivity with China. I think it should be. It's very important. Every nation has to be connected. There are certain investment from China in last decade. One project, Upper Mashangdi, 50 megawatt, and they have developed and in operation for domestic purpose consumption. We are now consuming that power also, and Chinese investment. I think for domestic, if Chinese investment projects are not suitable or not connected or not integrated with this sub-regional market, then China can also import Nepal's hydropower. If transmission line is going to be connected, so they can import, and they can import to Tibet, Lhasa, and Lhasa is already connected to mainland China, Sichuan and Jiang states, they are already connected. So that means power can be transmitted anywhere. So every options are feasible. And in China, Lhasa, solar is very cheap, and there are huge solar potential in Tibet, and that potential will be very cost effective for this region. So that is also the possibility and opportunity for this region. The trilateral agreement between India, Bangladesh and Nepal is going to be happened in coming future. I think Bangladesh wants to invest also in Nepal's hydropower projects. There are many Indian investors developing many hydropowers in Nepal. So for those developers also, not only India, Bangladesh is another destination for power supply. GMR is developing 900 megawatt Upper Karnali project, and they have already almost at the final stage of signing the PPA with Bangladesh, and that is a milestone. That is in that PPA there is a tripartite agreement. Indian entity, Bangladesh entity and GMR, they are signing this tripartite agreement. So this will open this BBIM connectivity and integration of market. And I think India, China, Nepal, we cannot say there is no option. There is always the option, always opportunities, and whole Europe is a market, single market, and why not Asia can be a single market? So market can be integrated. When transmission line is integrated, power can be supplied and transmitted anywhere. So we should not be pessimistic, we should be optimistic in all respects. When we talk about the integration of a market, the transmission line is very important. Connectivity of transmission line, capacity of transmission line. We have already connected with India many transmission lines, and many more transmission lines are coming up. Butul Gorakhpur 400 kV transmission line is under execution, and Lamki Bareilly, Inerva Purnia, other many projects are in pipeline. So when those projects are completed, I think more than 1,400 megawatt can be exported. And in Nepal, there are so many sites of the biggest site is 10,800 megawatt Kanali Chisapan. To wield that power, it will require more and more transmission line. So transmission line is the major bottleneck, and we have to build the transmission line. When transmission line road is there, car will come. When transmission line is there, the power will come. So the connectivity is important, and investment in this region in hydropower from Indian investors. There are many big investors. They are showing interest on Nepal's hydropower, and many hydropowers, Nepal's reservoir and peaking runoff river projects type of hydropower, they are taken up by government companies of India. Bangladesh is also interested in one of the reservoir projects, Sunkosi Third. We have visited, and we have several rounds of discussion with Bangladesh counterparts, and there are many other countries showing interest in Nepal's hydropower projects, not only this region. Third country, Europe, and American companies, maybe this Korean companies, Japanese companies, they are showing the interest. The major part is transmission connectivity and market. If market is open, transmission line is there, then investment will come. And this region as a market, if we see huge economies are, two huge economies are there. China is also a huge electricity market for Nepal, because China is also facing now electricity shortage. There are some load shedding in industries because of coal shortage. So all over this region, electricity shortage is there, and our energy is green energy, and this green energy can be exported south or north, anywhere. Actually, there are many investment in Nepal, not only Chinese, more investment from other countries, India and Korea and many others. So Chinese investment is also there. As I have already said, that there is the interconnection going to be built between Nepal and China also, and China is also interested to connect the market of Nepal and China. So when it is connected, then they can also import, and Nepal can consume. Nepal's demand itself is increasing day by day. So our average demand increment in last 5 years is 20%. 20% increment every year is used in electricity sector. So our demand is also increasing. Nepal will also need more and more energy. So the heavy investment will be required in generation, not only in generation, transmission and distribution also. So I think this situation, this policy of Indian guideline that does not permit the third country investment, that will not hinder much in future. I think market will be open for north also, and Nepal's domestic demand will also increase. I think geopolitics will change. I hope the geopolitics will not remain always the same. It will change. I think for this region, the market integration is important. Actually, Nepal's demand itself is coming up with 20% increment. So we need more and more hydropower projects to meet the demand of Nepal itself. So if Tamakossi or other projects are not evacuated in India, And there are many other projects we can evacuate or we can export to India. We are supplying many more projects to India, and if that is exported, then other projects we can consume here itself. It doesn't matter. Actually, this power sector is vibrant, and without energy, economy will not move. It's very important, and India's demand is also increasing, and supply of fossil fuels price is going up and up every year, every month, and shortage of supply of coal and gas is there in this region. And COP26 target, this climate mitigation target, by 2030, India is going to consume 50% energy from renewable sources. By 2070, they are going to make their energy use, or they are going to make net zero carbon in their energy use. For that also, this hydropower is very important. Hydropower is renewable. So to make the climate change mitigation target and to meet the increasing demand, India will also need more and more energy supply from Nepal, maybe from other countries also, because 70% of India's electricity is from thermal, koila, is coal. So in Bangladesh, it is almost 99%, it's not renewable. They have also to meet this COP26 targets. Otherwise, they will also be in difficult situation. So for this also, this clean energy is important. Our energy is very important for to complement solar also, because India's solar mission is huge. One sun, one world, one grid. This is the vision of Indian Prime Minister Modi. So when solar is increasing, solar production is increasing in daytime, what is at the night time? So for complementing solar also, hydropower is important. So three important aspects. One is complementing solar, another is meeting the COP26 target, climate change targets, change mitigation target, and the most important is meeting the increasing demand. So these three important aspects, and this fossil fuels, coal and diesel and gas, these are depleting and going to be shortage, and the price is going high and high. In Europe, you see today the price is very high, energy price is very high. So this is a green energy, and another source of this fuel is coming up with this green hydrogen. This for green hydrogen, Nepal can be pioneer, and Nepal can export in the form of green hydrogen or green ammonia without transmission line. We can export our electricity to Europe also. That technology is there now at present. Green buses, hydrogen vehicles, hydrogen submarines, and everything is now going to be built. So that will make Nepal's water the source of all electricity sources, all sources, all energy sources. So this is very important for Nepal. So I think India ultimately will see this region's energy integration that will benefit all the countries. This is win-win. There is no zero-sum game. This is a win-win game. For everybody it is win-win. And if we develop Nepal's hydropower, that will benefit reservoir projects. If we develop Nepal's reservoir projects, that will benefit more on downstream countries. Other benefits, flood control, irrigation benefit, drinking water benefit, this navigation benefit, there are so many other benefits. If we build hydropower in Nepal, that will benefit downstream countries also. This is also the other benefit that we can count for. So, I think this market integration and the grid integration is very important. At present, Nepal is exporting around 400 megawatt to India, and we are trying to get clearances for another 200 megawatt. So, 600 megawatt at this year itself, within the next 2 months, the clearance will be there. So, this year we will be exporting 600 megawatt, and that export will be increasing day by day. And I think in last 4 months, we have already exported around 8 billion rupees equivalent electricity, and in 4 months itself, it's 1 billion units of electricity we have already exported. So, this volume will increase. This volume will increase, and our generation capacity is increasing every year by 800 to 1000 megawatt. So, generation capacity is increasing, and by next 5 years, our generation capacity will be more than 7000 megawatt. So, our demand will be less than 4000 megawatt. So, more than 3 to 4000 megawatt we will be exporting. At that time, after 5 years, the energy export will be equivalent to more than $2 billion, $2 billion to 100 billion rupees. So, 200 billion rupees. So, this will be increasing, and that will balance the trade deficit between India and Nepal. So, in future, our generation from domestic investors as well as generation from Indian investors. There are many Indian investors investing in Nepal, and other investors are also coming. So, more volume of electricity will be traded to between Nepal and India. That will be a win-win to both the countries. Nepal has already achieved its generation target. We are in surplus situation now, and by next 2 years we will be surplus in dry season also. After 2 years, in dry season also will be self-reliant. So, energy wise, electricity will be self-sufficient in Nepal. We don't have to import in dry season itself. But the most important part is how we can replace fossil fuel, petrol and diesel and gas. And we are importing around $5 billion equivalent of fossil fuels. That has to be replaced by electricity. So, this is the very important goal that we have to meet. For that, we have to promote electrical vehicles, hydrogen vehicles, and induction cooking. If we can replace with our electricity those fossil fuels, then Nepal will be not only net zero, we will be carbon negative, and our economy trade deficit will be very good at that time. And actually, Nepal will contribute in these regions climate mitigation target. The last visit of our Prime Minister Sherbadir Deva was one of the milestone visit for power sector. That time we have signed this joint vision statement on power sector cooperation. That is the blueprint for this power sector. Prime Minister Modi itself, he expressed in his press statement that this cooperation agreement, joint vision cooperation, is the blueprint for Nepal and India's power sector cooperation. So, in that joint vision statement, 4 important aspects were mentioned. One is joint development of hydropower projects, large hydropower projects in Nepal, joint development, how we can develop as soon as possible, and joint development, and this cooperation will be extended to the BVIN countries also. So that means it is the cooperation market will be extended to Bangladesh also. So that is very important. So these things are mentioned in this joint vision statement, and the hydropower is recognized as the key driver for this climate mitigation, and it is renewable. India has recognized Nepal's hydropower as a renewable energy, and it is key driver for climate mitigation. And there are certain projects like Pancheshwar to be developed as fast as possible. So these are the major milestones, major points that is mentioned in joint vision statement. So in my perception, this visit and this document should be and will be the milestone document in coming future. It's completely wrong. So market dynamics, we have to understand the market dynamics. In which market we are selling electricity? We are selling electricity at the competitive market, day ahead market. Daily we are bidding, and whatever price is generated in that market, day ahead market, that is applicable for all purchaser and seller. So we are not fixing the market price. That market, whole market, 20,000 bidders, 20,000 megawatt bidders are there. So that will determine the market price, and we are getting much more better price. In last 4 months, we are getting even 12 rupees Indian currency per unit at the evening time, 5 hours. And average, it was almost sometimes 10 rupees Indian currency, sometimes 5 rupees Indian currency. Up to 4 months average is almost now around 5 rupees or 5 rupees 25 paisa Indian currency. It's very good price, almost 9 rupees Nepali. And we purchase electricity even at 1 rupees Indian currency in some months. The overall average of import for 6 months, we have to see the average. Sometimes it may be 12 rupees Indian currency also for import in March or April, maybe. It's some block, 15 minutes block or 1 hour's block. In some days, it is that price also. But overall average price, daily price we have to see. Daily price, it comes around 3 rupees, then it's very cheap. So we have to see average, daily average, monthly average, and yearly average. So yearly average we are purchasing at low price, and it is market dynamics. It's not me fixing the price. It's not PPA, power purchase agreement. It's not long term. It's short term trading, competition. If for me sometimes, if it is raining in India also, everywhere there is no demand at all, then the price may go down. At that time, for me, 2 rupees also very good price sometimes, because if I don't sell, I have to spill. I have to, without money, zero price. I cannot store. Electricity is one commodity that cannot be stored, even for 1 second. If I cannot store, then I have to steal at 0. Then at that time, if I get 2 rupees, 1 rupee is also better. Sometimes it may happen. If you go to, if some shopkeepers sell this potato at certain price, if potato is rotten, and then what he will do? He will sell at 1 rupees also, sometimes. So it's a market, it determines. So it is completely wrong, and this electricity is just like a commodity. We have to sell and purchase at the market. If we do long-term market, long-term power purchase agreement at lesser price, 15 years, 3 rupees or 4 rupees, then you can say that Nepal is selling at lower price, and I am buying electricity for 15 years at 5 rupees, then you can say. But it is not there at all. We are bidding at every 15 minutes block. Every day we are bidding. So the bidding price, sometimes it is very high, sometimes it goes down. When you enter into the playground, you have to follow the rules of the game. That is important. Yes, I think for Nepal to become self-reliant in energy, we have to convert everything in electricity. Everything should be run by electricity or hydropower electricity. So for that, energy transition is very important. Transition means from fossil fuel to electrical vehicle, and from gas to induction cooking, and this boilers should be run by electricity. The brick factories should be run by electricity. Everything should be run by electricity. No energy source, other energy source should be utilized. That is very important. So now we are promoting electrical vehicles. There are many charging stations now all over Nepal. We are installing. Nepal Electricity Authority itself and private sectors are installing charging stations, and we have clear-cut policies for promotion of these charging stations and electrical vehicles. And the price of electricity is very low for electrical vehicle. 5 rupees, around 5 rupees per unit in the off time you can have in charging station. So it's very good. So and for induction also, the induction cooking, electrical cooking is much cheaper. Now itself it is almost 40% cheaper than gas cooking. So everything, we are reducing the price, we are making all infrastructure available, and continuous supply of electricity will be maintained. Now we are investing heavily on infrastructure, distribution, transmission, substations. We are investing for reliability of the system and quality of the system. So I think this will promote replacing fossil fuel, promoting electrical vehicles and induction cooking, and we are promoting hydrogen, green hydrogen also. Green hydrogen, we are now going to construct some green hydrogen plants also. If we can promote green hydrogen, our electricity can be converted to hydrogen and ammonia, even urea, fertilizer, and that will consume huge amount of electricity. So this will promote this clean initiative.
बचत खाताहरू मध्ये सबैभन्दा बेस्ट एनआईसी एसियाको बचत खाता यो हो सर्वश्रेष्ठ